Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Courageous Survivor. It is April 9th, and on April 7th, I went to be evaluated at a functional doctor's office. Um, they specialize in like brain stuff. It's a new clinic to me, it's closer to home, and I didn't realize how important that visit was for me, not just physically as far as taking care of the brain and stuff like that, but just mentally and emotionally. Because let me tell you, if you've been following my journey at all, I have been really inconsistent with my posting, with my podcast. Responding to emails, like, life has been really difficult over the last year, and not difficult in the sense of anything wrong because I love my life. Things are going well, but as far as like I just felt like something was wrong. Like I am constantly tired. And I wake up though fully rested. So I am able if I get a good night's sleep. So if I get my target sleep of anywhere from 6.5 to 8 hours or more, like I wake up and I would be able to wake up and like work a cardiac arrest. Like I wake up very rested. I sleep well. I hit all of my benchmarks, as far as I watch my sleep carefully to make sure that like I'm not awake too much, but that I'm hitting my REM and my deep sleep. Like I sleep well. I'm one of those gifted people who go to bed and can fall asleep in 15 minutes. But when I don't get that sleep, it takes me days to recover. And there was some thoughts about like maybe being a paramedic and working night shift is not going to be sustainable and I need to start looking for another job. There's been, talk about like, well, you have a lot of trauma in your past and being a paramedic probably isn't the best thing for you. Um, and like I just haven't felt right. So there's super little things that most people probably wouldn't even pick up on, but I am super in tune with my body because I have learned and I work very hard at that. But so for instance, like when I'm bent down or when I'm walking across any type of surface that is not completely flat and hard. So like basically if I'm not walking on cement or concrete, I struggle. Like I feel very uneasy and it exhausts me. So walking across the yard, certain carpets, stones, like anything like that, I don't feel um like solid. Like I feel like I am walking drunk. Like I it's just it's hard to explain. The same thing with driving. As long as I'm just focusing on what's in front of me, I'm fine. But if I get to the point where I'm like looking around a lot or things like that, like I just don't feel as solid as I should. And I have really struggled with like, I get a good night's sleep. I wake up at 4, so I pretty much wake up between 3:30 and 4:30 daily. It's not an alarm clock thing. That's what time my body is up and ready to go. And then I pretty much go to bed between um to be honest, probably between 6:30 on bad days up to 7:30, 8 o'clock on good days. Um and then I sleep pretty solid through. And there's days though where like by between, I was telling my doctor that between like 1 and 3, I hit this brick wall. And it is just like I can't think straight. I need to take a nap. Like I just can barely function. And I don't understand. I have not understood like why. And just like these other little things that like I just don't feel myself. I can't like multitask very well. If I do much work on my computer, or I'm doing things that require like a lot of research, or a lot of brain thinking, it takes like I'm just exhausted. And then instead of maybe like 7 o'clock, I'm ready to be in bed by 4 or 5, just done, shut off. I'm like certain noises, so like repetitive sound, like just there's like I have a sensitivity to sound, and there were like all these little things, and it's been very frustrating for me because like my general practice doctor basically wanted to be like, hey, I don't think you're sleeping well enough, maybe we should give you something for sleep. What about something for anxiety and depression? I think you got a lot of inflammation, which is some of those labs that I've talked about earlier in different podcasts. I think we should put you on a statin. And I think that being a paramedic is probably a little more mentally challenging than you can take with your history. So I've really struggled with that. People that I know and work around have made me feel like it's something wrong with me and my like me mentally, because I have been told like, well, you're too picky, you eat too clean, you're too this, you're too that, like um you need to live a little, and you go to bed so early, and just all of these things. And I really it started kind of giving me a complex, to where people have come at me enough that like I've really stopped being so consistent in stuff with my podcast and the work that I would do and posting on social media, because like is it me? Like am I too much? Am I expecting things like in I was telling the doctors that evaluated me on Tuesday that you know I truly thought things were me, and that I was the problem. And and maybe I'm being too picky, and maybe there isn't anything. And can I tell you how much better I feel that there actually is a lot. There is a lot going on. And I've talked about this in videos on my social media and on other podcasts, like how you have these three systems that give input to the brain. So like your vestibular system, which is like the inner ear type of thing, the balance and motion, and you have your proprioception, so your body awareness, so like those muscles, joints, and tendons. And then you have like what you see, your visual system, so your eyes and the brain processing. And those three parts are not telling the same story. I actually am posting a video today of one of the tests that the doctor did, that she recorded of me and airdropped to me, and realizing how like as I'm walking away from her and back towards her doing nothing, I'm fine. My gait is fine. It looks good. But then when you go and you add this, hey, while you're walking this time, I want you to do every other letter of the alphabet. Well, that's not something that I do every day, and it requires a higher level of functioning. Well, the brain is working so hard right now because I have this stuff with my eyes that they have found. And they found some stuff with my neck and in muscles, and in the feedback that like my proprioception is giving. And so you start having these mismatches, and it's everything that my body can do to just do these very basic functions of keeping me upright, that you go to add on that higher level of thinking. And now as I'm walking away, my gait is unsteady. I'm struggling. I can't do the alphabet like that. And it felt very overwhelming for me. I started like I almost was about ready to cry, but that's because it's like all of this stuff's going on in the brain and the brain is overwhelmed. And so although I look fine to other people, there's this thing that I can feel. And I think the hard part is like I was telling her, I think more than any abuser ever did to me, I have been gaslit by the people I know and love in the medical system way worse than anybody that has done to me in my past. Because people legitimately have made me feel like I'm crazy or that like I expect too much. And I think that there is this overwhelming like talk on social media and just in general that like life is heavy, like life, everything's wrong. People don't feel good. There's chronic illness. There's this, that, there's all these things. And I feel like there are a lot of people that are just barely surviving. Like just living and getting up and making it through the day is all they can do. And I'm not saying that there is anything wrong with that. But like there are choices that we make every day that determine what our tomorrow looks like. And I don't want to be that living in the moment, barely surviving, um, feeling chronically ill, feeling all of these things. I don't want to live like that anymore. Like I lived that way for 47, 48 years. And this version of me loves my life. Like I don't care what's going on in the world. I don't I don't watch the news. I rarely watch TV. I don't really care about what's going on social media. Matter of fact, my stuff rarely gets seen because I don't spend a lot of time on social media. Like I interact with a few people that I am inspired by that are high functioning, that are living their best life, that they have goals for being better themselves. Other than that, I really don't care to engage with and watch other stuff. Um, I was talking to somebody recently about like the coffee, like the amount of coffee places that are up there. I drink my um, mold free, plain Jane black coffee at home. And one of the things that I'm realizing is like people don't understand the impacts of sugar on our bodies. And that like I've intentionally made these life choices to be my best self. And I look at my mom in a assisted living place dealing with dementia right now. And I know that the decisions that I make now as a 52-year-old determine the 60, 70, 80, 90-year-old version of me. The females on my maternal and paternal side live into their 90s. And I don't want to be having to be in a assisted living, having dementia. Like I don't want to live like that. And I know that the decisions that I make to take care of myself, because let me tell you, being in being raised in a home that had domestic violence, um, I I kind of was taught that my emotions and my physical needs and my physical pains and stuff didn't really matter. It was more about taking care of others. And I repeated that through my relationships, that like it didn't matter how I felt. It didn't matter how it hurt me. It didn't matter anything. It was about taking care of the other person, pleasing and being that way. And I never prioritized myself or my health and my emotional well-being and my spiritual well-being. And in my healing and in my building my relationship with God, I learned that me being the best version of myself is allows me to, you know, be better hands and feet of to the church and being able to take care of other people, and putting myself, that if I'm not taking care of myself and taking care of what I know is the temple, my temple, I'm responsible for this, and I have in living inside of me, whatever you believe in, like whether you just believe in consciousness or the Holy Spirit or whatever, like I need to have a healthy environment for that to be seen out into the world. And I set high standards for myself, like being able to multitask, to be able to think quickly, to be able to take care of my body, to be able to take care of my girls, to be able to, have a clean, organized house, to be able to stand on stages and present my best self, and all of this stuff. And it's very hard to do that when I'm just surviving. Um, and I think that this world has so much to offer. Like, I love my little piece of the world, and I know that the world is not good for a lot of people. It wasn't good for me for a lot of years, but I've made life changes and I've made decisions that have made my little life, my little piece of the world, um, amazing. Like, there's nothing that I want for, or that I feel that I don't have, or that I don't feel that I need to escape from home to go on vacation because I need a break. I don't feel that, I don't get great pay as a paramedic. But I love what I do, and I love being able to um, take care of people. And I just think that we really need to change this culture that we have, that, like, we need to put our expectations, or our thoughts of the way the world should be, out on other people. If somebody wants to barely survive and live day to day, that's on them. If people want to be high functioning and they want to chase the best selves, they want to, whether you call them conspiracy theorists or whatever, but that people that believe that big pharma and the government and all that stuff are not giving us the best. Like, there are facts about that. Our water is not clean. Our food is not clean. And there are a lot of things. An interesting thing, when I was at the clinic, do you know how many people were there? So there weren't a lot of people. Like, I think that there were 6 or 7 of us being seen that day. But can I tell you, like, how many people were there because of they had a neurological decline after they got vaccines? Um, and I'm not here to argue that, but, like, that's their story. And so, like, people can make their choices to live however they want. But why do we have to expect other people? Now, I will say this: if somebody keeps complaining to me that their life is this or that, and you give them a suggestion or you say something, like, I also don't think that it is unreasonable to be like, look, I've given you solutions, you know, maybe cut out your sugar, cut out drinking, stop eating processed food, maybe you need to exercise. I think that we also need to support that. Um, it- I just, I am so thankful, and I feel very validated um, that there are things that they found that were wrong in my brain. I am glad to know that they think that they can pretty much fix everything. I am so grateful to know that I am going to be a better version of myself. Um, I am going to be, they told me I'll be doing 10 days of rehab. I don't know how soon that will be happening. I'm going to try very hard to get that done as soon as possible so that I can get back to my podcasting and then my coaching and helping other people. Um, but I also don't think it's fair to offer something that I can't fully deliver. And so I needed to take this time. So I hope that everybody will give me grace in my inconsistencies and everything like that. I have answers now, and I hope in the next couple of weeks I will get those 10 days done. And between now and then, I will keep posting little pieces now that I have things that I need to be doing. Um, Being able to post some of my videos that were recorded and talking about what was found, and kind of just being able to walk people into that, and show people. And I'm so excited because um, I went through a very, I don't want to say dark phase, but this little piece that um, I had a pity party and that I was feeling this way and I was feeling bad and like I'm not living my best life, and I'm so mad that somebody who hurt my brain and these people who, have abused me along the way are still controlling my life and blah blah blah. Um and it started making me I started giving a root to anger, and I had to forgive that and work through that. And that was I didn't like myself that way. And just some of the stuff that people have said to me, and I'm learning that the loudest um the loudest boos come from the cheapest seats. And there's all these little sayings, that I often record and or talk about and stuff like that. But I just feel that the best of me is yet to come. I am thankful that I get to have this, and I'll talk more about like what it looks like going to the clinic and everything. But I just wanted to do an uncuffed, like just come on here and kind of update everybody, because that's what this is. This is the courageous journey. Me as a survivor walking through this courageous journey of like transparency and becoming this best version of yourself and forgiving the me that didn't put me first, that didn't feel that I deserved a good life and that I deserved being able to invest money in, and that I could be anything. I that my identity was tied to my weight, and that I had to shed that version of Porky that I was called as a child. I had to realize that it is okay to sever relationships with family and with toxic people, that it is okay for people to view you as too much and too picky and too whatever they want to say. Um, because most of the time, people who will not say anything to people that don't stir something in them, and me being able to be so disciplined with my diet and being able to live those ways um, irritates some people. It bothers them because it's something that they choose not to do. Not that they couldn't, but they choose not to do. And that's not on me. That's on them. And if they want to, have those ill feelings, that's okay. They can have that space. That is not mine to carry. And being able to realize that I am not responsible for other people's feelings. I am not responsible to make people like me. And I am not responsible that when other people have bad days or bad feelings, it is not my place to fix that, because those are things that I learned from childhood that I carry, and I don't need to do that anymore. The only person that I am responsible for are the people in my home, the people that God puts in front of me to take care of, or that I feel are part of my purpose. And the other people, not my duty. That's their battles. I hurt a lot of people in my wounds and in my pity party and in my brokenness. And there's a lot of people that still live in those places and they also hurt people. And I need to make sure that I give them the grace, but I do not have to keep putting my hand on the burner and keep getting burnt. So I just want to say there's a lot more to come. I again want to reiterate my apologies for my inconsistencies and stuff like that. I have not known. I was really kind of, I would say, I don't want to say barely surviving, but like mentally and stuff, just trying to figure out like what is going on. I have answers now. I know that I am going to be a better version of myself. And I look forward to kind of moving into this space of being a better voice and advocate for survivors and for people who are looking to become their best selves, just holistic healing and healing from trauma. And so I thank you. I thank you for continued support and for joining me on this courageous journey. Have a wonderful day and be blessed.